Day 2 of the Pac-12 Beach Volleyball Championship. Survive and advance. Show up or pack up. Gorgeous day in Northern California. We are on the campus of Stanford University, the best beach volleyball conference in the nation in the conference tournament, Pac-12 Beach Volleyball Championship inside Stanford Beach Volleyball Stadium. This is a double elimination tournament. Yesterday's action, the top 4 seeds advanced. They will play in the semifinals of the winners bracket later today. In the Contenders Bracket, well, you got to show up or you go home. Arizona just beat Utah 5-0. The Wildcats have advanced. They will play the winner of USC and Cal coming later up. But right now, it's Arizona State and Washington. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm Anne-Marie Anderson alongside 3-time beach volleyball Olympian Holly McPeak. Holly, Arizona State, the more experienced program. Washington made a great run last year in the tournament. What should we be looking for?
Well, I think it's a really interesting matchup. Arizona State more experience in the sand, but Washington has some really physical players who can do damage, as we saw last year. So it's an interesting matchup. I almost give the edge to Washington.
In a way, I mean, Washington's 4-pair was terrific yesterday. Let's take us through the rules because this is truly a team sport in collegiate beach volleyball.
So 5 sets of pairs will compete. The best 3 of 5 wins the duel. So that can happen at any position. They're all equal wins. First flight, pairs 4 and 5 will match up. Second flight, pairs 1, 2, and 3. 2 out of 3 to 21. Third set, if necessary, 15 points, and you must win by 2.
As you look at the matchup between these two teams, the 7 seed and the 6 seed, Washington is the higher seed. You have to consider what we've seen in beach volleyball. When your 4 and 5s can get you a win, that's a great sign for your program. It takes pressure off. So we start the match with the 4s and the 5s. We're going to turn our attention to the 4 court. Katie Cross and Sierra Flood and Anna Crabtree and Cara Bajema. Now, Bajema and Crabtree got a win yesterday for Washington that really helped propel them emotionally, perhaps. And they had a great showing yesterday.
They played Cal, and they beat a team that's only lost twice all season long. So Crabtree at the net with her size, and Crabtree in the backcourt behind Bajema at the net. It was a nice compliment.
Here comes Crabtree. Crabtree, the more experienced sand player of the 2 on the Huskies side.
There you see Crabtree take advantage of that tight ball at the net. Katie Cross and Cara Bajema, the 2 bigs facing each other, and then you've got Sierra Flood and Anna Crabtree, the 2 smaller players for Washington and Arizona State.
Length versus length up top. Cross finds the sand.
Katie Cross, just short poke shot inside the block.
Cross out of Flagstaff, Arizona. Serves Crabtree handling the first ball. Turning it the other way.
Crabtree attacking the retreating blocker. That's a really good strategy. If you're Katie Cross, you need to get your feet stopped sooner and hands up ready for that ball. I feel like people attack that dropper 80 to 90% of the time.
Crabtree gets part of it. What a play by Bajema. Big moment laying it out in the sand.
Love that play by Bajema, not known for diving, and she uses that long body, lifts the ball, and then Crabtree with the short drop shot.
Cross going over the head, making Crabtree turn outside.
I like that deep shot over the retreating blocker. Really tough to defend, and even if you dig it, tough to transition back for a point.
Keeping the ball on Crabtree, making Bajema set. High off hands, great control.
Crabtree very comfortable, very confident, moving the ball around the court high off the hands of the blocker.
Crabtree wasn't planning to be a collegiate athlete. She was just a regular student at Washington when the beach program got going. word got around, hey, Crabtree's here, and she plays on the beach, had her come out. It's her second year competing with the team. Bajema, meanwhile, did not play last year on the beach. It's been her indoor season with the indoor season.
Did you see how high that line shot had to go? Finds the deep corner by Katie Cross. But when you have to clear Bajema, it's not easy.
This one, Bajema passes. Crabtree on the run as the pass was to the net. Off the tape, but what an up! Lift called.
Little bit of a sticky contact on that dig. There you see head coach Steve Whitaker. This is his first season as the Washington head coach, but he's been on the coaching staff on the indoor side for a long time, coaches 3 club teams in the Seattle area. He is a busy guy, especially in April.
That set was sky high, waiting for it. Crabtree, though, on the other side, nice hammer.
And Bajema really focused on her platform and lifting that ball for her partner. Steve Whitaker got thrown into the job when Jonathan Winder, the previous beach coach, got a head coaching indoor job at Fresno State.
Yeah, Whitaker went through the fall with just 4 athletes working with his Washington. Still in the process of building their beach volleyball program. They've doubled their competition dates this year. Net violation.
Bajema with the follow through gets part of the net. Set just blew a little bit tight.
Going at Bajema again with the serve to her outside shoulder.
Bajema able to put that ball away using her length, and then you see on the pair fives, Plaster Baldwin with a slight advantage over Robinson Drchsel.
Crabtree serving. They call that serve in. The official is saying, I can't tell you, saying it's in or it was brushed as a touch.
I believe he's saying it brushed the back line.
Yeah, nice. Katie Cross and Sierra Flood, 17 and 12 record this season as partners. They did get a win at the fours when they faced Washington. On the run. Bajema patrolling at the net. Crabtree handling the first ball. Again, to the back line.
Crabtree so aggressive, going deep middle, and then you see Brad Keenan in his second season as the Sun Devils head coach. This season has been a little bit rougher. They lost some senior talent who had played beach a few years for them and kind of rebuilding with some young players this year.
Little ball.
Little ball, that beautiful drop shot. With that poke, you can go anywhere, short, deep, and it's tough to read. Arizona needs to be ready to run.
Crabtree serving. Oh, right in that back corner.
Very aggressive from the service line is Crabtree. It's going to help create point scoring opportunities for Washington.
This Washington team excels under pressure. Last year, we mentioned they were the 7 seed coming into this tournament, ended up finishing 3rd, upset Stanford, Cal, and then Arizona.
I think when you have athletes that expect to win, like if you're part of the Washington indoor volleyball program, you expect greatness, you strive for it every day, and you expect to win. So when you're out stepping onto any volleyball court, you want to push yourself to win, and the sand's no different.
Bajema passing the first ball. Crabtree sets, and everybody's falling backwards. Block is up. Crabtree touches it. Solid block.
Well, you think you have a break because Bajema's not at the net, but Crabtree does a good job pressing over. Doesn't matter how big you are, if you're pressing over with your hands, you can be an effective blocker.
Yeah, Crabtree 5'9", Bajema 6'2", but as we mentioned, Crabtree more experienced in the sand. No one on. And again, just going to split the defenders.
And enough pace where it's tough to control that ball. Crabtree gets her feet to the ball, pace on the ball, and tough to control for Arizona State.
4-point lead for the Huskies on court number 4. Retreating blocker, and as the blocker's going back, dropping it right in front is Katie Cross.
I like that short shot, but I like also on the other side of the net, Bajema identified that, tried to lay down and dig it.
4 pairs in the driver's seat, leading by 3, Arizona State and Washington.
Bay Area.
Pac-12 Beach Volleyball is brought to you by State Farm, here to help life go right. Day 2 of the Pac-12 Beach Volleyball Championship, the 7 and 6 seeds squaring off. In the Contenders Bracket, this is a win or go home match. The 4s and 5s playing first, as we'll do. We'll keep an eye on both matches, but we're going to go back to the 4 pairs, Cross and Flood versus Crabtree and Bajema.
I like that high line shot. Bajema is so long. She just hits a good high shot over the block. Block can't even touch that ball.
Arizona State lost to USC yesterday, Washington to Cal, but one of the wins for Washington was at this 4 pair.
Again, Crabtree scoring points off her serve. It's a nice jump float serve with enough pace that it's, if you don't get your platform out early and control that ball, you'll get in some passing trouble.
Hammer, no touch, and it's long. Crabtree will continue to serve.
Katie Cross needs to stay aggressive, even though there's a big block in front of her. The more aggressive she is, she can get touches on the block, move it around the block.
Little. What a nice turn from Bajema, and then, yeah, Crabtree attacks. That's about as pretty a cut as you're going to get.
Beautiful. Katie Cross going back to serve, but Sierra Flood, the right side cut shot. Nice and sharp along the net.
Washington has had some bad luck with weather, and I'm not talking about in Seattle. When they went down to Southern California where it never rains, it rained when they played USC, and down to Southern California. When they went to Hawaii, where they think is going to be a nice trip, it rained again. They're thinking, well, we could have gotten this at home.
Yeah, exactly. Well, at least they didn't bring the rain with them here.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
happy about that.
Playing in the sun this time around. There's another look at their head coach, Steve Whitaker. Little. Bajema saying, I'm up. The burpee on the sand.
How about Bajema? She's reacting, she's learning, just learning to read the game, reacting, getting the short balls, and then nice reach, turning that ball away from the defender.
I love the I'm up, the enthusiasm. Don't take it on 2, I'm getting up.
Bajema gaining confidence all the time.
Communication sounds solid between those two. They have a 6-point lead. Up again, Crabtree blocking, unloading is Katie Cross.
Katie Cross, when she's aggressive, she is tough to stop. Big athlete, she's got power, she's got finesse. Started her career at South Carolina, transferring to Arizona State soon after.
Serving Bajema. And Holly, what do you think of that strategy, serving Bajema, having Crabtree set?
Well, you know, maybe they're more comfortable defending a hitter. That time Katie Cross late on her press, but sometimes it's easier to defend a true hitter than somebody who shoots the ball around and drives you crazy.
Like Crabtree can.
Exactly.
At the same time, though, there's the 2 philosophies, and that's why I'm asking you. There's that philosophy, and then there's the Crabtree is definitely the better ball control setter.
Yeah, but I like to play a big hitter who's just going to hit the ball.
That's just going to pound it.
Yeah,
That's why we want to know.
I'll put my big blocker in front of her and limit the court that she has to attack.
While they're in a timeout, let's go over to court number 5. Arizona State and Washington locked up at 1 apiece. Washington came out 5-2 to tie things up. They had a little bit of a run. As you'd expect, ASU is keeping the serves on Natalie Robinson.
And this team of Plaster and Baldwin, the freshman duo for Arizona State, extend rallies. They're undersized, but they work hard, keep the ball alive, and that can really wear teams down, especially big players like a new player to the beach like Samantha Drchsel, who's playing for Washington, and her partner Natalie Robinson. They've got the size advantage for Washington, but long rallies and extended defensive opportunities, Arizona State has the advantage.
Yeah, Baldwin and Plaster now up again, +2 after the Huskies responded. They were down 12-9 at the technical timeout, came back to tie it up, and then another push.
Natalie Robinson, number 10 for Washington, the smaller of the two players, grew up playing some beach volleyball. She is the setter for the Washington indoor team, and her new partner, Samantha Drchsel, will be part of the indoor program in the fall.
Let's go back over to pair number 4. As it's ending, they're coming close to the end of the first set. If Bajema can put it away. Retreating blocker. One-hand dig, pretty solid from Bajema. And then a big swing, but long.
Sierra Flood digging some good balls, putting the pressure on Bajema to find some open court and avoid her on the defense.
Cross and Flood need to push. Set is to 21. Hammered cross court.
I'd love to see Katie Cross of Arizona State line up more on the ball. She kind of runs outside of the block and like tries to sneak in from the side, but I'd rather have her just front the ball and make Bajema think about her.
Set point. Off hands, Arizona State stays alive. Both the 4 and 5 first sets coming down towards the end. Washington in the driver's seat on both sets.
Big play by Kate Baldwin at 5'5", finds a way to put the ball down and tie it up 18-all.
Left side of your screen for the set. Bajema going up to hit. Off the tape. Going to poke that over.
Cross and Sled keeping it alive. Bajema's not her aggressive self. She's kind of trying to shoot it over line instead of just going up and crushing it.
Bajema at 6'2", by far the longest reach on the court. Here she goes again. They're keeping her setting. No one on. Off tape. High ball. Now Bajema needs to set a nice ball to Crabtree, who goes long. Another break for the Devils.
And you see the strategy going to Bajema, working for Arizona State. Bajema needs to get her feet to the ball. Quicker arm. The ball's kind of dropping, a little bit of a breeze. She can get her feet there and use her long reach. That'll help her kill the ball.
Bit of a chase. Bajema, good talking, but they're giving a free opportunity to the Sun Devils. Crabtree's going to stay. Now it's getting crafty on the Sun Devils side of the court.
Arizona State taking advantage of a tough serve and good defensive touches.
Going to be a timeout as the run by the Sun Devils on this court. Set point number 5 opportunities that Washington has had to put it away, and they haven't.
And if you're Washington and you've got some experience or a coach in your box like you do, switch sides. Mix it up. Do something. Give them a different look, but don't keep trying to do the same thing.
Yep, and when we're saying switch sides, we're talking the right
left
and left
right side. Correct. Bajema's been on the right side. We know she's very comfortable on the left side. Put her on the left side. I think Crabtree's skilled enough to play either side. It's just to give Arizona State a different look.
On court number 5, Baldwin and Plaster at set point. Left hand, deep line. Opportunity here for the set. Nice turn. Up for the attack, and that'll do it as Samantha Plaster takes a swing to seal the first set victory.
And that was some tight action, but Arizona State extending those rallies and ball control 1 out.
18-20. A 4-0 run for Arizona State.
Washington kept the ball on Plaster that entire set.
And look what Washington did. They switched sides. I like it.
There you go. As we come back to this, so now Bajema is on the left. I didn't know your microphone went that far. Big up. To the corner. What placement. Cross came to play.
All right, so now we've switched sides. Pass the ball. I think passing's key. And then use Bajema to just go hammer it.
6 set points the Sun Devils have fought off. And that'll do it, but boy, did they have to work for it. 6 set points. Crabtree and Bajema put it away, but the warning shot has been sent.
Yeah, and I think the momentum went in favor of Arizona State. I think they learned something about their defense. Arizona State loses the first set.
Maui Gym. The view's better from here.
Pac-12 Beach Volleyball Championship, Day 2 of the 3-day double elimination tournament. Fans are enjoying the action. We started the day with 8 teams still in the hunt. We're going to end it with 4. It is winner stays. 2 courts of action happening right now. We're going to start and turn our attention on court number 5. Baldwin and Plaster took set 1. Arizona State won on both courts, 4 and 5. Oh, no, they didn't, excuse me. Washington was finally able to convert on court number 4 after 6 set points.
Exactly. Well, Samantha Drchsel at 6'4", Natalie Robinson, they've got the size advantage, but ball control and extensive defensive touches go in favor of Arizona State. They are everywhere, this freshman duo from Arizona State.
Yeah, Sam Drchsel, a transfer from Maryland. First day on the beach was her days at Washington. Came to play indoor when Steve Aird, the Maryland head coach, moved on. But has the right attitude, according to indoor coach Keegan Cook. Wanted to kind of be up for anything. Good pound there.
And she didn't join this team till spring break, so she's later to the game than most of the players out here.
Little.
Kate Baldwin spent a lot of time in the sand in high school, and you see the little finesse shot. A good beach player is used to pushing that pass up to the net, and it really opens up offensive opportunities when you're close to the net.
It's a double freshman team for Arizona State. Beach-only players, as we talk about, going for the back line.
Samantha Plaster, right idea going that deep line, just missing long, but Arizona State digging everything. It's just whether or not they can put that ball away.
You talked about Baldwin spending so much time in the sand growing up. Head coach Brad Keenan talking about her extending rallies more than anybody else in the program. We certainly saw that yesterday.
Absolutely. She has some strong legs and motors everywhere, and a never say die attitude. You know, defense is one thing. It's one thing being quick, but having the right attitude, it's a mindset.
Ball's up. Lift called on that first contact.
You have to have your hands together on that ball if it's not hard driven. On the side change, Arizona State slight advantage.
These are 2 big little combinations, but as you look at them, one big little is much bigger than the other big little. Arizona State, the more experienced players, their little is 5'6". Washington's little is 5'11". Their big is 6'4", where Arizona State's big is 5'11".
Yeah, with heels on.
Yeah.
Because she does not look 5'11".
Well, you say you're 5'7".
Well, I added a quarter of an inch. That's okay.
I'm just saying. It's pot calling the kettle. That's what that is.
Just saying.
Baldwin and Plaster ahead Samantha Plaster, just a freshman out of Flower Mound, Texas.
The same hometown as Jordan Anderson of the Washington Huskies #1 pair.
Yep. They did not play together because Jordan Anderson, a 5th year, and Plaster, a 1st year. She was a freshman right after Jordan Anderson graduated. She just came over and visited us and talked with us a bit, enjoying her time in the Pacific Northwest.
But I'm sure the legacy of Jordan Anderson is still there at Flower Mound, Texas.
Yes. Wind's starting to kick up.
Yeah, definitely. We're feeling it. And it's different than yesterday.
Yep.
It appears that Arizona State's on the good side with the wind in their face, and Washington on the tough side with the wind at their back, dropping that ball away from them.
It's coming both from a different angle and the different corner. So yesterday it was coming from the other corner into faces.
It's so strange because on a beach it's usually pretty consistent, but this is a man-made beach.
Right, and that is the difference, isn't it, Holly? I mean, it's coming off of the ocean usually. You always know it's going to be coming from the west here.
Unless it's offshore, correct? Yeah. Crabtree and Bajema with a 9-3 lead in the second set. This ball is just dropping because of the wind, and that's the advantage of the good side. You want to step up, but that ball can carry on you as well.
And for Arizona State, Brad Keenan sharing with us, they don't get much wind at Para where their home courts are. They haven't seasoned in it.
And it's tough. I mean, I think it's the most challenging part of beach volleyball, dealing with the wind. And if you don't have that regularly at practice, it's challenging when you have to compete in it.
Just a nice high delivery by Robinson, pushing him back.
And not easy, siding out from the bad side. Natalie Robinson finally able to get out of that serve-receive rotation.
Blocker stays, Robinson gets a hand on it, unable to control it.
Good read by Robinson, nice run, just unable to control it. But if you're Washington, you can relax a little bit because you're going to the good side.
Do you relax a little bit, or do you attack on the good side, wanting to win every point that the wind's helping you with?
A combination, but now that I'm looking at the flags, I feel like the wind shifted a little bit again in Arizona State. It's kind of following Arizona State. The wind's coming from right to left in Arizona State's face now.
Baldwin and Plaster with a winning record and a winning karma, getting the wind in their face again.
Absolutely. So when the wind follows you, you know something's going right.
You have been living right.
Yes. Good karma.
What a nice chase. That set was full effort by Drchsel.
And you can see the way the ball is moving because of the wind. It's blowing away from Robinson. Great hustle. And then the ball blows tight, and Plaster able to take advantage at the net.
Baldwin and Plaster, an 8-point lead. Big lead built as Washington will take a timeout when they're out of break. Let's go over to court number 4 and check it out. Washington out the 6-0 run early. Crabtree serving tough, 2 aces.
Bajema will go back to serve. Crabtree stays at the net. She holds her own defensively. And Bajema, we've seen her throw her long body all over the court to keep the ball alive for Washington.
Right down the middle.
Katie Cross using her physicality, hammers that ball home for Arizona State.
They need to. Cross needs to serve aggressively. She's missed a couple already trying to go at it. But as you mentioned, the wind's in their back. Bajema.
How about that line shot? You know, I feel like Bajema hasn't been able to get on top of the ball and drive it down. Every time she tries to hit it really hard, she gets part of the tape. So she's been opting for that shot more often. And if that's the case, as a defense, you want to drop off the net.
Starting to pound the ball.
Yeah, Katie Cross is super physical. She just needs to use it consistently to put the ball down. But let's see if Arizona State wants to pull off the net on Bajema and make her do something else because she likes shooting that ball right now.
Tough pass.
Really nice high flat serve, caught Bajema in a tough angle.
Crabtree and Bajema need to carry a heavy load for Washington here because Cross and Flood can come back, but if the fours can win again, it's just like releasing a pressure valve on the rest of the Huskies team.
Absolutely. You want to start with a win under your belt before the 1s, 2s, and 3s. That's one of the first time Bajema's been able to get on top of the ball and hit down. But Arizona State in a good position to dig it. They just need to be ready.
But score check, 6-12 or 4-12? 6, that's what I thought. 6, what that was.
Bajema serving at cross. Just so smooth, the turn in the air.
Turn in the air, but she turned it 1 inch out, and Washington gets the point.
A 7-point lead for Crabtree and Bajema. The 4 pair for Washington clicking.
Watching Pac-12 Bay Area.
Sun Devils and Huskies battling it out in the sand. Winner stays, loser packs up and goes home. The Arizona State Sun Devils under the direction of Brad Keenan, and he knows of what he speaks. A former pro, a former indoor star. He's pretty spectacularly decorated.
4-time All-American indoors at Pepperdine, but one of the best blockers and servers ever on the beach. He and John Mayer had a lot of success on the AVP tour, but now he's turned to Arizona State and helping them develop their beach volleyball program.
I mean, he was the 2006 Rookie of the Year for the AVP, the 2007 AVP Most Improved Player, and you mentioned his serving, Holly, the best server in the AVP in 2014.
He has such long arms. He gets up, and the angles and range that he can serve the ball, wow. He was a fun one to watch play.
Holly, an elite coach, teaching players the game. You, of course, 72 beach wins, 3 Olympics. You have a club, you teach younger players. Is it hard sometimes when you're an elite player to convey to other athletes how to create kind of their own magic?
Sometimes it takes different strategies. There's a lot of visual learners out there. Sometimes you have to say things in 3 different ways. And sometimes a different coach will say the same thing that you've said, and it enters their brain. So you just want to get them the best information. But one of the things I found mostly with these young athletes today, a lot of them are visual learners. So seeing it on videotape and then being able to teach from that point is really helpful.
Especially if you put that videotape on an iPad with some music behind it. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Who doesn't want to watch that?
Yeah, I like it. You say somebody else says the same thing, and you're like, yeah, good idea. I said that several times. Little shot. Boy, is that perfectly placed by Sierra Flood.
Sierra Flood, nice little drop shot over the block. She's a freshman from Phoenix, Arizona, but has one of the most consistent players on the Arizona State team.
Score is corrected out 10-16. That did drop inside.
Katie Cross, as a blocker, you want to get like a little semicircle around you within 6 feet and help the defender out. Otherwise, your partner's got the whole court to cover.
Ace serve to the back line.
Bajema, nice float serve, gets away from Cross, dropping in for the Washington ace.
Second ace by Bajema in this set.
Anytime someone's serving a floater with pace, you need to move your feet, track it, because it's going to drop. It could rise as well, and that's the beauty of a float serve.
Yeah, they're +4, the Huskies are. They've had 4 aces in this set. Little. Wanted up by Crabtree, poking it deep. And then shovel it to the back. That's dirty, and I love it.
Yeah, that's a good rundown. Sometimes it's just good to just end the rally when the other team's out of position. I never did that. I was not a fan.
I'm a big fan.
But it works, yeah.
That's kind of just saying, yeah, figures. And therein lies our personalities. But that's basically saying, I'm done with this. I'm done. +8, Crabtree and Bajema. I can only imagine you were disgusted when people did it back, too.
Well, I'm disgusted if I let it drop. Good little drop shot. Again, Crabtree taking a bunch of the court. I'd love to see the blockers from both sides take a little bit more of the short balls around them. Just like a little semicircle, 6 feet.
Ace serve on that side against Bajema. Meanwhile, it's match point on the right side of your screen on court 5. And look at these scores, Holly. They could cancel each other out if Arizona State wins.
Ball control on 5. So good.
Bajema pokes on the left side of your screen. Match point on both sides. Look at the right side. And with that ball out, match on court number 5 goes to Arizona State.
Good win at the 5s. The scrappy Plaster Baldwin team do it again for Arizona State.
It's 1-0 over there, but here comes the other court. Washington has led in this second set the whole time. They came out hot with a 6-0 start and have never let it go.
But this is when Arizona State went to work, when Washington had set point the first set.
That's right, and there were 6 set points that the Sun Devils fought off before the Huskies put it away. So believe me, they are not comfortable. That, though, will do it. And we have an intense flight of action going on because Washington's 4s did it again. Arizona State's 5s get the win, and we are tied up 1-1 in this duel. Let's take a look at our State Farm Get to a Better State.
They'll begin to warm up on court number 2.
Watch Plaster and Baldwin. Here you see the Bajema Crabtree duo. Look at them lay it out. They worked for every point. State Farm, get to a better state. When you hustle like that, Washington did it right.
Was always a huge.
Pac-12 Beach Volleyball Championship, 7 and 6 seeds battling it out. The winner stays, a loser goes home. It's a 3-day tournament on Pac-12 Network. Day 2 of the tournament will have 4 tomorrow. 4 teams remaining. It's time now to see the top pairs in these programs. That's Jordan Anderson and Kimmy Gardiner for Washington versus Quinn Johnson and Mia Rivera of Arizona State. Holly, what do you think of the matchup?
I like Washington because they've got 2 bigs, both block, and I think Mia Rivera's a little bit undersized, but they get her moving, they get Quinn Johnson moving, and they can get some tweaks in the serve-receive game, but there, Quinn Johnson using her size to put that away. So I just feel like the serving advantage and defensive advantage goes to Washington. But Mia Rivera, a small defensive player who sees the game well, can do some damage behind the big block of Quinn Johnson.
Yeah, they're very much traditional big little. Johnson 6'3", Rivera 5'8". Out of Gilbert, Arizona. And tied up at 1-1 in this duel. Getting Gardiner as she's coming off the net. One arm stab. Coming right over the shoulder of Quinn Johnson. Anderson going for the retreating blocker. Yes, she did.
Both these players for Washington, Kimmy Gardiner and Jordan Anderson, fifth-year players, grad students. Kimmy from Oklahoma, Jordan Anderson played her indoor ball at UCLA, but they got the whole fall to work on their beach game. And there you see Kimmy Gardiner get a good touch off her block, but cannot follow where it goes. Mia Rivera going high off the hands, and then Kimmy Gardiner searching for the ball.
To Anderson. You know, you mentioned Anderson got her indoor at UCLA, or finished her indoor career there, but she also got 2 years in the beach under Stein Metzger. First year not on the pairs, not in the 10 pairs, but still got the training there.
Absolutely. And so this is her third year playing beach, and she's very comfortable at the one position. She can block or play defense, but dynamic offensive player. That's kind of what she was known for indoors.
This is her final day as a collegiate athlete. Jordan Anderson just a delightful athlete who said, yeah, I maximized it. Played at West Virginia, then UCLA Indoor, then UCLA Beach, then Washington Beach. There's nothing left for Jordan Anderson.
4 colleges.
3 colleges.
Correct.
Right.
I guess 4 different sports.
Yeah, 4 different teams.
West Virginia, UCLA Indoor, UCLA Beach, Washington Beach.
3 senior days. How about that?
Yeah, impressive.
Yep, she's already got an internship that starts at Toyota Motor Speedway in Texas in 2 weeks. She's going to win at life, Jordan Anderson.
Yes, she is. Great attitude. And when she wasn't actually in the competing pairs at UCLA, Stein Metzger talked about her attitude. She would shag balls. She would bring water. She would do whatever it takes to be a team player. And if you're an employer, that's the person you want on your staff, somebody who's willing to do it all. They don't need to be a superstar.
That is true, but that's a pretty superstar block from Kimmy Gardiner.
Kimmy Gardiner, good press over the net, shutting down the line on Mia Rivera in transition.
Kimmy Gardiner transferred from Oklahoma. Another indoor player out to the beach.
Go, go, go. Come on, collect it. No one? I'll get you tighter, Kimmy. I'll get you tighter.
Cuddy.
I like the maturity of Kimmy Gardiner and Jordan Anderson talking, hey, I'll get you tighter. The communication, there's something about being a 5th year. You've already been a collegiate athlete for a long time and you're mature. And I like the way they communicate as a team.
Long over the top.
And that's the thing. If you serve Mia Rivera, the smaller player for Arizona State, if you serve her easy, the big 6'2" Quinn Johnson's going to come in and hit on 2. So you want to try and take that away from her.
So smooth from Jordan Anderson.
Jordan Anderson returns the favor, sees the opening on 2, right over the big block.
Anderson serving. Huskies +2 in set number 1. Off the block.
That's that ball around the block that I'd love to see the blocker turn and get. Jordan Anderson was in the angle, had to try and run that ball down. If you're the blocker, turn and play that.
And if you had more time together, you would know, right? I mean, whether Gardiner was actually going to get that, whether Anderson needed to lay out too.
Yes.
They get 1 year together, these two, and really their year is only a couple of months. I respect it. I do. I love it.
Well, you have to have the control to keep it in the court. She saw the opening. There's not a lot of movement on the Arizona State side. If there's a speedy little defender on the other side, well, and I'm not saying Mia Rivera isn't, but if you're ready for that, you run that down and gobble that up as a free ball.
I've never played on a court with anybody like that.
Okay,
13-11. No, I get it.
Down.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Thursday.
I'm good. Nope. Rivera passes. Quinn Johnson going right back at you on the option.
I know Kimmy Gardiner's learning the sport, but when the ball's hit on the left side of your body, you must go with your left hand to bring it back in the court. She goes with her right hand, and it takes the ball away from the court.
Yeah, and we see that a bunch, right? That's one of the things you try to coach out of the prep athletes that you have.
Oh, yes, I do. We specifically train both hands, the outside hand, bringing the ball back into the court. All tied up. Both teams kind of sizing each other up. No distinct advantage in this first set yet.
Gardiner pass. Little.
Love that shot. Looks like she's going to hit the ball. Good hard approach. Just a nice fast poke shot high over the block.
As we've seen other teams do, they are going at Gardiner and making Anderson set. We know Anderson has some crazy angles at her disposal.
Yeah, I think you're better off defending Gardiner. Anderson's got the no look. She's got the power, and she actually has a good hand controlling the ball around the court. She's got shots as well.
Yeah, she's got a great hand, doesn't she? We even saw that indoor when she first arrived at UCLA, hitting some angles that we were like, what? Little wide on that serve.
Quinn Johnson at 6'2" has got a nice flat serve that doesn't go very high over the net. Tough to serve. They can score a lot of points off it, but that one just wide.
Up. Anderson ready to Kong block that, but ended up giving up space.
Yeah, Jordan Anderson hungry on that block, but gives up the little poke shot around her.
lift on that set so Gardiner could hit it. And then Anderson outside of the back line.
Love it. And she went nice high over the block. No chance to get that ball. Washington sits with an 11-10 lead.
Two-time defending back-to-back NCAA champion USC coming up after this match. Sun Devils and Huskies battling it out. Winner stays, loser goes home. We are now onto the second flight of action because the 4 pair for the Huskies did their job, got a win. 5 pair for the Sun Devils. And so they left us locked up in a 1-1 tie. 3 courts of action going on. Block by Gardiner.
Kimmy Gardiner gets the block on the big Quinn Johnson. Quinn Johnson at 6'2", height advantage at the net, trying to hammer that down.
I love the action we've seen on the 1 court so far today. We saw Arizona and Utah go to 3 sets, really evenly matched programs. At the 1 spot, the 2 spot, you really see the depth, the differences when you get into 4 and 5 sometimes.
And you see a high level, very high level of play on the 1s courts. Kimmy Gardiner with a good transition kill off the big block after her block of Quinn Johnson. And then there's that short shot where I want to see the blocker turn and get that. But you have to have it in your mind, hey, I have that ball. You can't think of it after the fact. It happens too quickly.
Johnson serving. Anderson to that corner. Rivera picks it up easily. Retreating.
Jordan Anderson with a dig, trying to get out of the way, but good read by Mia Rivera to take away that on-2 ball and put it away.
Gardiner passing. Not going to happen.
Quinn Johnson has the potential to score some points off her serve. High point of contact because she is so tall.
Gardiner. Oh, just about 6 inches wide.
Wow. Idea is right. High contact to the corner. Defender running the other way. Misses. So close.
Quinn Johnson remains serving. Sun Devils on top, +1. Gardiner, deep poke.
All tied up, 14 all. Jordan Anderson needs to tell her partner it's a side change.
Come with me.
Yes, but I like the even back and forth battle because it becomes a small game now. 7 points. It's a race to 21, and you really have to minimize errors and focus on each point.
Huskies are working without a coach on court number 1, as we saw them do yesterday as well. Anderson retreating, nicely done. Yeah, Jordan Anderson wants a piece of that. She'd love to be able to get it up and hit the ball. Out.
Jordan Anderson is moving so well in the sand, up and down, and she gets her feet set up, a nice base to block. She goes down, way up, makes a move for that short ball. I love the movement.
And of course, we know that that is from her soccer days. There's the feat of being a great prep soccer player. She was quick.
Kimmy Gardiner tagging the back line, and right now, Washington back-to-back points. You want to go for a run at this point in the set.
These two have yo-yoed, trading points back and forth. Quinn Johnson turning it away. Anderson, control, resists the urge to pound, and Justice finds the spot.
3 in a row for Washington, and Arizona State wants to sit down and talk about it.
After tied up at 14 apiece, a 3-0 run for Anderson and Gardiner of the Huskies put them in the driver's seat in a set that's only to 21. Let's go over and take a look at pair number 2. Schwan and Julye for Washington versus Giedraitis and Braun of Arizona State. Arizona State in the driver's seat, +4.
Destiny Julye and Courtney Swan were all tournament team last year at the Pac-12 tournament in Tucson, helping Washington to that third place finish. Two fantastic athletes from the indoor team. Destiny Julye is a full-time blocker on this team, and Courtney Swan is the defender. Both physical athletes who can play up at the net or behind.
And Arizona State has been keeping the ball on Julye, making her pass. They got 4 in a row working off Julye. She now has got 2 nice kills in a row.
And Courtney Swan sets Destiny Julye up perfectly. We know Destiny Julye's got an arm, and she shows us why. They keep talking about it in Washington.
Now, she's done some great things in Washington. We still remember in her freshman year when she came in with an injured player and really attacked the game. But we're going to go back to court number 1. Their timeout is over. We remind you, 3 consecutive points by the Huskies, but Rivera answers the bell after the timeout.
Mia Rivera, good aggressive swing in the cross court. Arizona State looking to get some points. They gave up 3 in a row.
Gardiner at the net. Here comes Rivera. The set makes her go a little outside, and Anderson's going to get to attack. Snap.
Anderson just elevates, takes a look, and finds the open court. The first play I like defensively from Arizona State, mixing it up. At that time, Quinn Johnson needs to be on the ball grabbing it. Jordan Anderson saw she wasn't lined up correctly.
Huskies surging ahead. Anderson and Gardiner.
Ace down the middle. If you're Arizona State, you need to call that middle ball. At this point in the set, when it's this tight, you do not want to give up that ace.
Anderson and Gardiner lost in 2 sets versus Cal yesterday. And another ace serve on the other side. Anderson and Gardiner take set number 1 for the Huskies.
Washington with a really strong finish when they were tied up at 17-all, or excuse me, 14-all.
Yeah, that's a nice run at that point, a 7-2 run to end the first set. Anderson and Gardiner without a coach. Let's rejoin the action on court number 2. Braun and Giedraitis versus Schwan and Julye.
Another kill from favorite Carballo.
Julye blocking just high line over the top.
How about Natalie Braun? Super confident in her ball control, just taking the power game out of it and shooting this big physical team of Schwan and Julye. Braun and Giedraitis are undersized in comparison, but they can run around. They've got great ball control, and they're just going to move the ball around the court, trying to frustrate this Washington team.
1 point lead on court number 2. Braun and Giedraitis fighting. Arizona State and Washington in the second duel of the day. Cal warming up for their match with USC coming up after this one. But this duel, it's a winner go home Contenders Bracket match. We're going to return to the 2 pairs. Destiny Julye serving. She's doing the bulk of the work. She is blocking and receiving almost every serve for the Huskies. Schwan giving her the option to hit.
Originally called out.
The referee is going to check the ball mark, and that's the beautiful thing about the sand. You can see where that ball hit. If it got any part of the line, it was in. I know Destiny Julye went deep with that ball. Let's see what the ruling is. The ball hit that back line. A good point for Washington, tying it up.
7-3 run for Washington as they have played themselves back into a tie. And an ace as the Huskies go ahead. July's second ace of the set.
Washington making things happen. Tough serve. The play before, a good defensive transition ball. Love the serve down the middle. Nice and flat. Creates some confusion.
Going at July, making her handle the ball.
Well, I like what Washington's doing. They're dropping off the net to dig, but you need to get your feet stopped and ready to react.
Schwan.
Courtney Swan very comfortable passing the ball. Destiny July puts up a pretty back set. Schwan with the open court. Destiny July's been getting most of the serves.
Yeah, that's only the second one that Schwan has gotten. I noticed that Schwan kind of on-to pass to July. She's got a ton of tape on that right shoulder. I'm wondering why Arizona State isn't trying her out a little bit more.
Yeah, why not? She was the Pac-12 Player of the Year. That's a good reason to avoid her. But when someone's got their shoulder taped, it could be a ploy to get serves. Yeah, it could be an issue.
It could be an issue. I'm more curious that she has, lifted the ball on that second one. But both times they served Schwan, Washington did convert. Keeping an eye on the score in the other courts as well. Anderson and Gardiner with a 2-point lead in set number 2 after winning set 1. July passes the ball. The other reason I'm curious is because that pass, that serve right between the two of them, and Schwan didn't step in to take it.
Yeah, a good point. I'm not sure. I feel like Courtney Swan's a good enough player. Even if her shoulder hurts, she can just shoot the ball around all day. She has good court vision.
Yeah, and that's just speculation, but she's such a good passer that I wonder. Setting up July. Little roll. Braun.
And that's a break for Washington. Braun, nice dig, little roll shot. Going to the right location, but clipped the top of the tape and rolls out.
Tied up at 15 apiece. In the background, you can see the UCLA Bruins rolling in, the top seed in the tournament.
A sea of blue.
A sea of blue. July serves. Little. There's the control from Schwan.
Yeah, and the court visions. That's what I'm talking about. She doesn't even have to hit the ball. Get her feet there, poke it around, shoot it around.
We haven't talked about the 3-pair yet. It is tied up 17 apiece. Lundberg, Carballo, Dehoog, and McPherson locked on court number 3. Net violation on the left side of your screen. July will continue to serve.
Dehoog McPherson with the 18-17 switch. Dehoog using her size at the net for the big block.
Well, July, just the tiniest of touches on the left side of your screen. Meanwhile, right side, well, McPherson back to serve for the Huskies. They are +1 over Lundberg and Carballo. Carballo setting. Lundberg, hate. Sun Devils point.
And good aggressive swing by Ellie Lundberg with a 6'4" Dehoog in her face.
Server for Arizona State is Caitlin Carballo, and her serve can be fierce.
She was on fire yesterday as they were the lone Arizona State team to get a win or a point versus USC.
Back set, McPherson Little. Well played by the Huskies.
Shane McPherson, really solid defender. DS and libero indoors, has a beach volleyball court at her home in West Seattle. Has a lot of experience in the sand.
Here comes Lundberg, block is up. goes deep corner. Tied up again.
Most teams test Caitlin Carballo, but right now Washington going after Ellie Lundberg.
Yeah, Lundberg a little bigger, but Carballo, the word has gotten out, I think, on how skilled she is. Nice swing from McPherson.
Net violation on that swing by McPherson, in Arizona State pulls ahead, set point.
Opportunity for the Sun Devils here to take a set. Carballo picks it up, brushes off, bigger block across from her, sharp cutting. Deep poke is so good.
Great defense by Carballo for Arizona State, and then Shane McPherson returns the favor, saving set point. Fun defense out here, everyone's scrambling.
Yeah, across all three courts, there is some hot action. Destiny Julye just hammered one, but it is McPherson with an ace to put the Huskies ahead at set point.
Shane McPherson, aggressive jump serve right at Ellie Lundberg.
McPherson serving for the set on the right side of your screen. Not having it on the right side, but now it's set point on the left side of your screen. Julye and Schwan, a 4-point lead. Here's your chance to convert. Pac-12 Player of the Year. Run, Julye got it. Gonna make Julye handle the first one. She put some heat on it. Turning. That ball's down.
Wow. Good defense, nice hustle by Courtney Swan to keep that ball alive. Destiny Julye needs to lift her defense just a little so Courtney Swan has more time to get there.
Right side of your screen, Carballo just put down a little shot to put it at set point. Sun Devils. Carballo serving on the right side of your screen. And on the left side, the Huskies just sealed the deal.
And Shane McPherson again, good aggressive swing to save the match and tied up 22-all.
Fast start in set number 2.
Every time on the two pair that they served Schwan, she converted. Taking a look now for the threes, tied up 22 apiece. So sweet to the back line.
Catches the back line, beautiful, aggressive. Shane McPherson, been impressed with her jump serve and her aggressive approach and topspin. For a defensive player, you usually don't see that type of reach and snap.
Yeah, she's looking like she has a beach court in her backyard.
Miss serve at set point, all tied up 23-all. Wind seems to have died down. No advantage court on either side.
Lundberg serves up to the net. Shane McPherson, nice poke deep. She's seeing everything.
She certainly did, because Caitlin Carballo kind of running for that shorter shot, and she put it deeper.
Carballo. Block is there. So smooth.
Yeah, fantastic hustle again. McPherson touching everything. Carballo hustling and touching everything. This is a war of two great defensive teams really working for this win.
Tied up 24 apiece, extra points in set number 1. Carballo, that's the heat serve. Passed by McPherson. And now Carballo's getting the majority of the swings. McPherson was on that side.
Wow. Amazing. McPherson just not missing and hitting that deep middle to go up by a point.
I think we have an awful lot to talk about with McPherson when she goes indoor again next year, because she has been impressive.
Well, you just see the confidence and the aggression. I haven't seen that from her at the indoor game. And she's playing a different role, but I like the aggression, like the effort. by McPherson.
She was a Libero the first year at DS, dallied back and forth, but she has been really a leader here, and you get the idea that indoor she's going to be even more of a leader in the years to come.
Watch Ellie Lundberg get on that ball. Huge block in front of her, and Lundberg able to swing fast, clearing Dehoog at the net.
They keep the ball on McPherson, and she has been a surgeon. Here comes Carballo, no block.
And finally, Carballo's been waiting for that short shot. The deep one's been working because Carballo was waiting for the short, finally gets one, and they go up by 1 for Arizona State.
Who is going to slam the door? Left hand, not yet.
Great pass by McPherson and a good opportunity for Dehoog to attack on 2.
For Dehoog, this is her last day as a collegiate athlete as well, a senior, making the most of it. Well, it doesn't have to be her last day. They could play tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? So
Good
her
point.
last weekend.
And now Washington, another point off the tough McPherson serve. Good top spin jump serve by Shane McPherson for Washington.
McPherson brings the heat, but it's an error and tied up at 27. This set should have been to 21, just reminding you that they are just punching each other. And they're keeping that ball on McPherson despite her craftiness, looking for an error, and there was one.
Shane McPherson really aggressive, going up, trying to hit that ball down, does not get on top of it, and now Arizona State with the 1-point advantage, and then pair ones, 2010 match point at the 1 court.
So left side, they're close to putting a point on the board in the duel. Jordan Anderson at the net, Gardiner serving. Going at Gardiner, left side of your screen. Gardiner to the back corner. Huskies win at the ones.
2-1 the count for Washington, correct?
Yes. And so 2-1 in this dual score in favor of Washington. Meanwhile, so the 2-1 and another match potentially. Well, the first set's still going on the threes and the twos. So whoever wins there, we either have a 3-1 or tied up, and all the pressure comes. And that's where the team sport comes in.
Wow, Carly Dehoog gets Ellie Lundberg passing air, and now Washington up again. This match could go forever.
I know you're being metaphorical, but
I'm serious.
Forever. It feels kind of like it. Dehoog and McPherson for the set. Keep in mind, we're still in the first set.
And the ones finished their entire match.
Right. Carballo goes to the other corner. A messy play, hard to read, and after a tremendous fight, Dehoog and McPherson outlast Lundberg and Carballo.
Great effort by both teams, but when it came down to it, McPherson, Dehoog made the plays.
Dehoog and McPherson with their first win of this tournament. Huskies leading the duel 2-1.
Bay Area.
Pac-12 Beach Volleyball is brought to you by State Farm. Here to help life go right. Day 2 of the Pac-12 Beach Volleyball Championship on the campus of Stanford University. At the fives, Arizona State won. Fours, Washington's 4-pair won again. And now with the first set in the books for 3 and 2, Washington in the driver's seat after the ones, Jordan Anderson and Kimmy Gardiner took the match. So a 2-1 lead for the Huskies. Huskies are the higher seed, 6 versus 7.
Ball on, and they're going to replay that point. Courtney Swan back to serve again. Nice advantage in this second set.
Yeah, a 5-0 start for the Huskies. Huskies have kept the ball on Natalie Braun the majority of the time in terms of the serve. Little from Giedraitis.
Good pass by Braun, and Braun Giedraitis, that's their game. Little ball control, little shots. Julye and Schwan need to be ready to run everything down.
And these two played together last year as well. They complemented each other. Schwan to the back. Julye showing some great sand legs.
Great run by Destiny Julye, not giving up. But again, I keep saying it, but the blocker needs to turn and get those short balls around them. Just, it's one step away.
You know, part of the transition, right, from indoor to beach as well, you would never indoor turn around and get that ball over. You'd punch somebody in the face.
That's true.
Most notably the setter, right behind you.
How about Destiny Julye in transition with the little snappy for the 9-5 switch. Washington with the 9-5 advantage.
Yeah, 14-9 record as partners overall. They did not win when they faced Arizona State earlier. But again, this is, for Washington, they haven't had much time in the sand. This is what we saw last year from them. This is what their head coach told us as well, is that they tend to peak right about now.
Yeah,
because they're not tired.
Exactly. They are very fresh. Everybody else might be tired, but they're just starting to hit their stride as a team.
Beautiful to the corner.
And Washington's going to have their spring indoor season after this beach season ends. So for these Washington athletes, they've been able to just focus on beach volleyball, which I think is an advantage. I think it's hard to go back and forth when you're in beach season.
Yeah, and it really depends on how your schooling is set up. You know, we have Cal coming up next. They're in finals right now. Their one player, Mima Mirkovic, had to leave, go take a final this morning at 7 a.m. And then come back.
Well, she made it. That's the good news.
Yes. We don't know how she did on her final, though. We got to ask her. She's a good student, though.
Yeah. She told her mom, look, Mom, don't worry. I've got all A's.
I'm a straight A student, business major, trying to get in the Haas School of Business. Giedraitis serving. Schwan. Schwan has been able to convert 5 of 6 times, 6 now of 7.
And you can see why. Good, hard approach. And then she goes over the line block.
If Julye and Schwan are able to win this set, Washington wins the duel and continues on. Hands, pretty, from Courtney Swan.
And Destiny Julye, nice vertical, nice arm, goes off the top of the block. Washington looking really confident. They've settled into this game where they got to run balls down and transition them. Destiny Julye, tough serve down the line. Natalie Braun a little bit late with her platform. 12-7 advantage. 13-7.
And the winner of this duel will face the loser of the UCLA-Stanford match. UCLA, of course, the 1 seed in this tournament. Destiny Julye has had 3 aces in this set. In the match, excuse me.
And nice little running drop shot over the block. Destiny Julye, seen a lot of volleyball from her. Some good service aces from the back line and some nice shots over the block, aggressive swings off her defense.
So while they're in timeout, let's go over to court number 3, which was a marathon first set. Dehoog and McPherson outlasting Lundberg and Carballo. It looks, Holly, to be the same story, tied up.
Back and back and back and forth. I love it. Great defense, some tough serving, all tied up.
Lundberg. McPherson digging. Door closed, but not all the way.
Well, when McPherson digs it up to Carly Dehoog at 6'4", the advantage in transition definitely is Washington's Ellie Lundberg, an undersized blocker, an effective blocker. But when you're matching up against 6'4", it's a big challenge.
Yeah, and a 6'4" left hand, no less, so she turns and just is able to wipe off you. Yeah.
Yep. But the back and forth continues now, 6-all.
Carballo's top spin serve coming. That one not to McPherson. The majority have been to McPherson, and you see why, that long arm.
I'm trying to figure out, if you're Arizona State, do you go after Dehoog, who's got the big offensive range, but Shane McPherson, no matter where the pass is going, they're pushing her up. Shane McPherson does a good job setting the ball, so that's a tough combo, but Shane McPherson is smaller and plays more of a shot game, so it depends what kind of defense you feel is your strength if you're Arizona State.
So I'll put you on the spot because of the 3-time Olympics and the 72 beach wins. Who would you serve?
I would start on Shane McPherson, but serve a little bit more towards the middle. Make her fade middle and maybe run a back set, just because she's got less offensive range, but she's good. So I would start there and see what happens, and then work the seams and work Carly Dehoog as well.
Julye and Schwan's sizable lead over Braun and Giedraitis, +7. Julye and Schwan in a position to be able to seal the duel for the Huskies. And again, this is a Contenders Bracket match, so double elimination. Both of these squads have already lost once. You hear the conversation coming over.
Courtney Swan, love her defensive block touch. She turns and sets her partner. Look at that. Good turn, and then Destiny Julye with the drop shot. Really fun to watch that. That's a mature volleyball move, coming off the block and setting it like that.
Deep poke, just keeping her head about her. Julye is fired up, and a sizable lead for the Huskies.
Washington has figured out Arizona State's runaround game, and they're doing it better now.
Running for it.
Courtney Swan read it. That ball was just a little bit deeper than she anticipated.
Schwan, in her final weekend of play as a collegiate athlete, has been just a huge asset for the indoor program. So smart.
And look at the ball control, just drops a little cut shot. We know she can just crush that, but drops the cut shot, good accuracy.
Easier to try to dig the crush.
I agree.
So smart.
But most players who can crush the ball just want to crush the ball.
Yep. Going the other way. I'm interested too that they have Julye blocking and Schwan defending. I mean, again, you've got the bigger player defending. An interesting choice.
Although more recently, Courtney Schwan's been up at the net. The play before, she was blocking, got a nice touch. Destiny Julye, she moves well defensively. So I think they're interchangeable.
There we go. +8 as Julye and Schwan are cruising towards sealing the duel for the Huskies. Winner of this one plays the loser of UCLA Stanford. UCLA Stanford is at 1:15, and then the match between Washington or Arizona State, whoever advances in the stool, will be at 4:45 p.m. today.
That ball set too tight to the net, and Braun Giedraitis take advantage for Arizona State, but they've got a big hole to dig out of. And this is the problem. If you don't push your pass forward enough, your setter's forced to push that ball to the net, and then a setting error occurs.
Giedraitis has to get after it on this serve. They go towards Schwan. That time she decides to rip it.
Courtney Swan saw the late angle block move, goes fast off the high hands. 2 points away from sealing the duel for Washington.
When the Sun Devils have served Courtney Swan, the Huskies have converted 8 out of 10 times. Here it comes again to the back corner.
And
she's
they've
just
all
toying.
looked like that,
Yeah.
too. And if somebody does that to you 5-6 times, you switch it up. You angle block and run down that line shot.
Or you play keep away?
Yeah.
Play keep away.
That too. But you have to let that defensive or offensive player know you're going to do something different.
This is for the duel.
Destiny July wanted to just bump it short, just didn't get a hold of that ball. One ball here, all they need to side out to win it for Washington.
Yeah, not only match point, but dual point. No block on Schwan, drops it in front, and the Huskies will advance. They have survived.
Pretty impressive watching Destiny July move and fly around the sand, and Courtney Swan using all her finesse. Fun to watch. Washington 3-1 over Arizona State so far.
Yep, Washington wins the duel. They will play the loser of UCLA and Stanford. They'll play that match later today at 4:45. Arizona State, a nice showing. They've got some work to do, and they are done here at the Pac-12 Championship. We are down to 6 teams still competing for the Pac-12 Beach Volleyball Conference title.
You see Eric Barber, the assistant coach at Washington, talking to Courtney Swan and Destiny July.
So looking at the 2 Contenders Bracket matches, Washington and Arizona both have survived. They will play again later today. Arizona will play the loser of USC and Cal at 3 o'clock. Washington will play the loser of UCLA and Stanford. There's still more volleyball to be played here on court number 3. And then after court number 3 concludes, USC and Cal will get underway.
Looks like Arizona State just went up by 1, 12-11 in this second set.
Another little shot dropped for Dehoog.
It's tough to defend a big player like Dehoog at 6'4". You know she can hammer it down, but when she drops that little short shot, you're not ready for that because you're on your heels ready for the heat.
Block. Huge block by Carly Dehoog.
Carly Dehoog using her size, getting in front of Ellie Lundberg. You need to go high to clear that big block, and there's not a lot of 6'4" blockers out here.
McPherson pass. Call was high line, and Carballo was in it. And then just goes where they're not.
And that's where you see Caitlin Carballo, when she gets a ball in her lap, Ellie Lundberg sets her up really nicely, and then you see the surgeon go to work.
Carballo trying to bring some heat against Dehoog and McPherson, who really have been quite steady, so you got to serve them tough.
Yeah, well, both teams trying to serve tough because it's just a back and forth battle. You want to try and open up a lead so you can breathe and put your foot on the gas. What a cut shot by Ellie Lundberg, and they switch, tied up at 14 apiece. That's a nice cut shot. She was about 3 feet off the net. Not easy to do.
Brad Keenan having a quick word on the slow walk with his server, Lundberg. Going at McPherson. Dehoog, that left arm, such an asset when you're on the right side.
Net violation on the turn, and that's a break for Arizona State. Can they separate themselves from this Washington team?
Behind McPherson. Lundberg able to get that ball to drop in the line.
And this is one of the first times that a team's been able to distance themselves by 2 points.
Yeah, 2 points seems like a lead.
Yeah, exactly.
Lundberg, after the side switch, rattling off a couple of good serves. Angle was the call.
Kudos to Shane McPherson. The defender, Caitlin Carballo, a very good one, was in the line, and McPherson able to get that ball to drop down the line.
Dehoog serving. Here's Lundberg, gets a good look at the court.
And a nice cut shot. Ellie Lundberg spent last summer in Los Angeles working on her beach game. She's from San Francisco and hasn't had the opportunity to train full-time. Really committed to helping Arizona State make a move.
No one, and then Lundberg comes in. Carballo. Lovely dig, but a big block ahead of her. Nasty cut.
Arizona State up 18-15. Good defensive read by Carballo. Staying home, not cheating any direction. And then the super sharp cut in transition.
Biggest lead of the set. Carballo serving again. Poke.
You hear the talk from Shane McPherson telling Carly Dehoog where to go. She's up. And then this little short line shot. Caitlin Carballo in the angle, long way to run.
McPherson serve, passed by Carballo. Dehoog's going to stay at the net on the tighter set. Doesn't matter.
Really nice. Caitlin Carballo again moving the ball around the court. 19-16. Good advantage, but not safe against Dehoog and McPherson.
Yeah, nothing feels safe, right? And again, because you pointed out to me so many times, McPherson going with her right hand for that ball on the left side. I mean, do you tell your players when you're training them you need to open a door with your left hand, you need to eat with your left hand? I mean, it's really unnatural for people that are right-handed and haven't thought about it very much.
Beautiful on-two option by Carly Dehoog. I think just practicing it, you get that confidence. Use it at practice, especially when you're on the outside. And the more times you rep it, the better you get and the more confidence you feel.
Is there anybody in your family that's left-handed?
No.
Okay. I was just wondering if your twin was left-handed.
No.
So you really had to work for that left hand.
Oh, yes, I did.
Set point for Lundberg and Carballo. After a first set that traded blows back and forth to extra points, they want to go to a third. Here comes Dehoog. Not done.
Caitlin Carballo needs to lay it out on that. That was for the game or the set to take it to 3. You don't want to let Shane McPherson catch any fire from the service line.
And that's a pretty fiery serve.
I'm telling you, she is unafraid and going for it.
It remains set point Sun Devils, but McPherson looks comfortable. That was a gutsy serve. Wow. On set point for her opponents, she had some heat on that serve. We will go to a third set.
I'll tell you, USC Cal have to sit for a while as we go to 3, Washington and Arizona State.
Studios, Saturday at 10 on Pac-12 Network.
Pac-12 Beach Volleyball, Day 2 of the 3-day championship in Stanford Beach Volleyball Stadium. The Huskies have won the duel against the Sun Devils. There's still a court of action going on. And taking a look at the poll, there's a lot of meaning packed into this poll, Holly, because next week is the NCAA championship.
There certainly is. The top 3 teams from the West region go automatically to the NCAA. UCLA, Pepperdine, Hawaii look to be in the best position. NCAA committee will select that. And then the top 3 from the East, Florida State, LSU, South Carolina, look like they're in the driver's seat. And then there's 2 at-large bids. So Cal Poly, USC, and FIU look like they have the best chance to get those at-large bids.
Top seed and number 1 team in the country, UCLA, came in a little bit ago. They will play later today, and boy, what a matchup. I mean, UCLA has never won a beach volleyball title, but they have been rock solid this season. Meanwhile, set number 3 between Lundberg and Carballo. Set 1, trading blows, extra points going to 30-28 to Dehoog and McPherson outlasting. And then Caitlin Carballo and Ellie Lundberg playing hard in set 2 for the win. Very, very skilled 3 pairs.
Carly Dehoog drops the Short ball from way off the net. If you're Arizona State and she's way off the net, you need to be ready to run.
Carballo trying to go high over McPherson.
And she does. That deep corner ball is tough to control when it's coming at your head.
Ellie Lundberg serving. They've kept the ball mostly on McPherson. She's a dangerous person to defend because she has so many shots in her arsenal.
It's amazing because Caitlin Carballo's a lefty. She hits these angles that you're like, how does she do that as a lefty? You got to really have good footwork to get to the ball and move it around the big block.
She came up through Elite Beach Volleyball Club, of which you're a part, in Southern California. How have you seen her game progress over the years?
Well, she's always had a good arm, but just defensively and the maturity in which she makes her decisions with her offense. Good, strong defender, but how she uses the whole court offensively. When you're a small player, you have to use the whole court, and you have to have really good hand control, being able to use lines, cuts, deep balls, and really mix it up.
You know, we see so many parents at so many levels really want things for their kids. You spend any time around Caitlin Carballo and you know she is self-motivated.
She is self-motivated. Great kid with a good attitude, and it shows. She loves what she does, and she works hard for it.
Pop down by Dehoog as she changes the conversation.
Carly Dehoog just over the top, using her length at the net, and again, we are all tied up. Ellie Lundberg asking about the overhand dig. In order to overhand dig that ball with your hands apart, the ball needs to be hard driven, and the referee thought it was.
Lifted beautifully with the set.
Strong high hand swing by Ellie Lundberg.
For Arizona State, a tough spot in that the team standing by watching their threes go, but they've already lost the duel. They will not continue on in this tournament. Carballo, though.
How about that? It's interesting. I was watching her before that serve. She drew a little line in the sand where she wanted her approach on the serve, and then well tossed and good aggressive back-to-back aces down the middle.
So you're talking about a vertical line, a perpendicular line, I should say, where she wanted her feet to follow in the path?
Yeah, just like a line of the angle that she wanted in the sand.
Interesting.
When I teach
consecutive serves, yes?
When I teach approach works and the angle that you want, you can draw in the sand. That's the beauty of the sand. It's a natural blackboard.
Yeah, nice job. I like it. McPherson again.
Rips it from way off the net. Shane McPherson. Good elevation. And then the 6-4 switch. Arizona State up by 2. But Dehoog and McPherson on the slightly better side with the wind at their face. And McPherson is dangerous from the line.
Yeah, she can rip it like Carballo. The two of them have developed great skills from the service line. Ellie Lundberg just outside the reach of Dehoog. Nicely put.
I like that high shot over the block. Now, if you're Washington, Dehoog has been blocking line on Lundberg. I would switch it up.
We'll take a look at that and see if they do.
Yeah, Carballo there to touch that. Excuse me, Lundberg. Just a little confusion in the middle for Arizona State.
McPherson, excellent dig, no one on, she's well off. With pace to the back court.
The full body thrust puts some pace on that back bump, I guess, by Ellie Lundberg. Enough pace to create some problems for Washington.
Lundberg up high. Dehoog didn't leave the sand.
Well, Shane McPherson made the good read for that over line shot. I said switch the block call, but Shane McPherson just cheated towards that line, and she was there for it. Just a missed opportunity by Dehoog.
Carballo serving. She's got a couple aces on the other side serving.
No one. Easy. Come on, right here.
Not over.
Another one right on the net. That ball popped up by Dehoog. McPherson just wanted to crush it. And the 10-5 switch for Arizona State.
Reminding her that the third set is a short one. It's only to 15. They're switching on fives. Carballo, we saw serve a couple of aces from this side. Dehoog. Carballo lined up just perfectly. No one on. She's going to try to go over Dehoog. Not high enough. You're there, easy, she says as she sends her into the net.
Well, you want to help your partner help you. Good effort vocally by Ellie Lundberg, but you have to relax on contact when you have an opportunity to dig that ball.
So interesting. Explain more about that relaxing on contact.
Well, in the middle of a rally, there's crazy stuff happens, but if you're jabbing at the ball, your control and your contact on the ball is not what you're looking for. You want it to be relaxed and controlled, like a long touch on the ball. I always teach my kids long touch on the ball with your arms. Look at that coffin corner poke again by Carballo.
Dehoog's up there. It's so nice to have Dehoog, a lefty, up there.
It certainly is, and McPherson's good at controlling the ball and feeding Carly Dehoog of Washington for the kill.
I'm really impressed by Washington overall. I mean, they got the win in this duel already, but their four pair got a win yesterday, got another win today. The ones, Anderson and Gardiner, both transfers.
Wow, what a set by Carballo, but Ellie Lundberg getting on top of that ball. Look at this quick arm, boom, bringing the heat. Carly Dehoog stopped in a good position. She can grab that ball if it's hard hit. Grab and lift. Ellie Lundberg, really good chase as a blocker, but Caitlin Carballo had already laid it out. 12-8. Arizona State with this slight advantage, but again, I feel like both teams can score points defensively.
It can happen so fast, too, especially with the great serving of Shane McPherson. McPherson going at Lundberg. Dehoog is up, gets a piece of it, and right off the top of the hands goes Lundberg.
And Arizona State's been really comfortable going over the line block of Dehoog. If Dehoog mixes it up, little angle block, it could make Arizona State a little bit more uncomfortable.
Little.
Wow, the 1 foot line poke shot by McPherson. Carballo flies in there, touches it, but they can't score a point off of it.
This is match 2 of 6 on our air today, or duel, I should say, 2 of 6.
Tough serve there by Dehoog. Lundberg can't handle it.
Dehoog, McPherson, Lundberg, and Carballo kind of playing in their own bubble right now, just wanting to win this set, win this match for pride. Washington has already won the duel, and what a put away by McPherson.
Pretty set by Dehoog, and McPherson elevating. Good snap on that one. If you're Ellie Lundberg, you need to focus on getting your platform out a little bit sooner. Pass that ball forward for Arizona State.
Lundberg again. Great pressure, but blocked by the net.
Oh. Ellie Lundberg wants that one back, and she's going to call a timeout for Arizona State.
Arizona State with the upper hand in terms of score, but Dehoog, McPherson, and Huskies have all the momentum. Let's take a look at the bracket to set up kind of what this is. We came into the day with 8 teams remaining, right? Yesterday, the top 4 seeds won. They will play later today in the semifinals of the winners bracket. We started our morning with the Contenders Bracket. Our first match was Arizona and Utah. Arizona was able to advance. And then Arizona State and Washington. Now, Washington has been able to advance, but we do play to completion, so that's why you're still seeing this final match. So Arizona is going to play the winner of the match that's coming up next. That's USC, or the loser, excuse me, of USC and Cal versus Arizona. Washington will play the loser of UCLA and Stanford. Double elimination tournament. So Washington and Arizona, under the pressure, answered the bell. And we will have a lot of fun later today. Started the day with 8 teams still in the tournament. We're going to end with 4.
It's exciting. It really is. And we've seen Washington have a great tournament last year, and they're having a great tournament again this year.
Yeah, Washington last season seeded 7th in this tournament, finished 3rd. They have the support of their indoor coach, Keegan Cook, who's really just excited about what this program is. A big fan, had a watch party yesterday. I don't know if he's got the same thing going on today, because I know there's a lot of recruiting happening right now in Southern California, but had a watch party and really supports these athletes. And as you mentioned, Holly, the indoor season, the spring season, is waiting till after beach for Washington.
Wow. How about that shot? Carly Dehoog drops off the net. Right decision by her, but she needs to push off and react to this super short shot by Ellie Lundberg. Match point.
Lundberg popping it down, but Dehoog not yet. Carballo doing sand sprints, trying to react. Oh, that's on. Dehoog, not yet. We're going to go extra points in the 3rd set, too.
Wow. Wow. Great scramble plays, and Washington fighting off match point.
Ace serve. Huskies for the match.
Are you kidding me? Shane McPherson serving from the other corner, the right corner. Great aggressive cross-court serve.
Huskies were in control of this set, really rolling. And deep and out, and Dehoog and McPherson pick up another win for Washington. Huskies came to fight.
They certainly did, but at the threes, Arizona State fought hard. Congratulations to Ellie Lundberg and Caitlin Carballo, but Carly Dehoog and Shane McPherson, backs against the wall, they responded.
Washington will advance with the 4-1 win. They will play the loser of UCLA and Stanford.
Pretty exciting day for Washington. Next up, pretty excited for the Cal-USC matchup.
Coming up next in about 10 minutes, you will see the 2-time back-to-back NCAA champion USC program take on a surging Cal. You got 10 minutes, stretch, get something to drink, and see you in a bit.